Okay, I think we're live. Hey guys. All right, I am really excited to be having this conversation with the folks that are here. Everybody here is either a senior or an alumni of Apps Without Code Bootcamp and has been working on an app, has been working on not just an app, but just building a business around an app. And so I'm super excited to be talking to all of you guys today and you guys sharing your stories about app building, not just the like fun parts and the amazing parts, because as you guys know, like it's highs and lows, right? Sometimes you're just like super frustrated and ready to quit. That's what entrepreneurship looks like. And some days you're like, oh, I'm crushing it. So I'm going to go around and first, just I would love for you guys to share what you're working on, what your app is, so people can get a chance to understand what you're working on. And then we'll dig into some of the questions that people really want to know about what the journey is like actually building an app. So Jazmyn, you're at the top of my screen. I'm going to have you go first. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're building in your app?
Sure, of course. So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jazmyn Breanna, and I am the CEO and founder of The Connect, which is a mobile app that makes it easier for event planners, creative project managers, event producers to hire event professionals for their events. And so a lot of people think that, you know, when they think about events, they think just venue, DJ, caterer, and then that's pretty much it. But you don't realize you also need set design, marketing strategists, party rentals. I mean, there's a whole slew of professionals. And so the Connect is like a little hub of event professionals that you can just hire, book, and pay directly. So that's what I'm working on.
I love it. And then DJ, can you share a little bit for us about what you're working on, what your app is too?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is DJ Leveille. I am the founder of Spellbeestar. Let me actually type that in right now. So I am an engineer by trade, but I am, passionate about education, especially in our community. So, I've got a son, I've got nieces, and they've always, they've got a ton of games, but they always want your phone. And I always felt, if you're going to get my phone, you're going to do something educational. And, for me, I think the environment right now, there's a lot of people in the entrepreneurial spirit. And I just thought it was a good idea if I can come up with something that, I was excited about. And when I was young, it was spelling bees. So I thought, I haven't found a spelling bee app in the app store. So that's what I did. I came up with an app that made it easy, for parents or educators to basically engage their kids in a interactive way, but at the same time teaching them how to spell and vocabulary, which is really important, especially for us in moving ahead in any form of education. So that's me.
Love it. Okay, and then Alexis, what are you working on? Tell us about your app and your business.
Yes, so my name is Alexis. I am the CEO of Dentkwik, and that app makes it easy for local dental offices to find temporary staff in their area so that they can save money. Because what happens, actually a registered dental hygienist, and what happens whenever I'm not there, all of my patients either have to get canceled or my fellow hygienist has to try and see double the patients. So now the patients have to wait. So it could just be kind of a long thing. It's not new. There are staffing agencies that do this, but the difference with the app is that it saves the doctors money because they don't have to pay the large fees that the agencies put out. And then it makes it better for the hygienists because they have more of a say over what they get paid.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Okay, nice. And then Shelley, what are you working on? You guys are all working on very diverse projects.
Hi, my name is Shelley. I'm a pharmacist. I'm here in Canada, but what I created was an app that helps pharmacists bill insurance companies easier. When we get when you bring in your prescription to the pharmacy and it seems to take so long back there's a lot of things we're doing, but one of them is to deal with insurance companies. And we get rejections, and we had to find the intervention code so that your prescription can get paid for. And there was never an easy way to find it in a convenient way, so we created an app. So instead of calling and waiting on hold for what my tech said, we probably about 15 hours a month, you can do it in seconds with our app.
Love it. Okay, so these are all really amazing ideas. And I want to go back to something that Alexis said earlier. I think Alexis mentioned like it's not new, right? Like what her app is doing. Like there's other companies that are doing maybe with less technology, but like people are trying to get this process. You're solving a problem that people already know is out there. Someone's trying to fix it, but maybe just not well. I would love to hear if you guys, how did you think about the problem that you were solving? Did you already know what problem you wanted to solve coming into boot camp? And did you feel like you had to come up with a completely new idea that like no one's ever thought of before? Because I know a lot of people feel that pressure. Alexis, I'll let you start because you had mentioned this. You said something about that. I would love to hear you elaborate on that.
Well, actually, how I even started thinking about it was just how I was introduced to you with Apps Without Code was on a webinar. And you said start with, what work. So I was like, okay, what is a problem? And so that's how I just started kind of going through it. I was like, because I've done so much temping in the past that I know that it's an issue. So I was able to think through. Literally, I'm walking through the house talking out loud, like, okay, how can I make it quicker? How can I make it work? And so that's how I got into it, just from talking through it.
Yeah, no, that's right. If you guys aren't familiar with what Alexis is talking about, we talk about the SMART idea formula for coming up with an idea. And the premise is to build your app around something something about, right? Because you already are going in with a little bit of a leg up because you've got some sort of expertise in it. You know about that industry, you know about temp staff, right? People trying to find temp staff in dental offices, right? Okay. Shelley, you were nodding your head. What about you? How did you come up with your idea? And then also, did you think it had to be completely new? Did you feel pressure about that?
So it was kind of funny. I signed up to Apps Without Coding, not even for myself. I thought it would be something fun for my 14-year-old. So I said, well, maybe I'll do this 1 hour thing, and maybe it something we could do together. And I was sitting there listening to you talk, and like, what do you do for a living? Is there something that drives you crazy? So I'm like, oh my God, I've been crying about this for the last 17 years. Because right now, pharmacists, a lot of ways we're really ahead, a lot of ways we're really behind. Like, we still use faxes and stuff on a daily basis. Like, that's kind of how, and what we have been doing, we write little Post-it notes, and we have little billing binders, and they're from 2016 and all, so it's just unorganized, and everybody complains about it. So when you're sitting there in your seminar, it's like, oh my God, of course. And I started laughing when you said everybody has an app in them. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, I have an app. And it's so funny. It's so funny. Every time, I just had a meeting last week, and he goes, I'm going to stop you there. I need to tell you what I wrote down when you first told me this. I go, what? Why hasn't anybody thought of this before? I get that because it's so, what I've done is so simple. It's just somebody had to do it. Yeah.
Wait, you said you were in a meeting. What kind of meeting?
Oh, honey, I have been having so many meetings in the last I started in 2019, November 2019 is when I came up with this idea. And in less than a year, it's on the Google Play Store and the App Store. So much has happened. And for me, even though, my life never stopped because we're working, we're essential, haven't stopped working, but everything else has stopped. So we were able to focus really on getting all the data, because for us, it's each insurance company. When you see, there are hundreds of pages of PDF that that they say you can print out. Look, nobody's got time to look through that. So I was able to sit down and distill all that information into the Glide app. But yeah, so it was just funny because I was sitting there thinking, I don't have an idea, and then wait a minute, you do.
You do. Got it. Okay, good. Something that you said earlier was really interesting as well, around somebody saying to you, and these are the meetings that you're having, like, why hasn't anyone else thought of this? Right. Like, to me, the biggest opportunity, and most of you guys actually built your apps without code. We'll talk about that in a minute, because there's been a variety of ways that you guys have built your app. So we'll get to that in a second. But to me, the biggest opportunity for no code in particular, but I would say just in general, right? Like the everyday person building an app. The biggest opportunity there are these like non-sexy industries where like Silicon Valley doesn't really fully get it, or they're not like rushing to solve the problem because they don't really understand the problem, but you do. Right? Like those are the really great opportunities where like you can just like go in there and be like, no one's thought of it, but here it is, or no one's done it, but here it is. Like I always love hearing about those stories. A lot of you guys have those stories.
And a lot of for all the people we've had meetings and we're working on nailing down some strategic partners. The thing that they all said to me is like, because I'm a pharmacist, you already come with credibility. You know the industry, you know the pain points already. So that's why when I saw your Dentkwik and what you were talking about, Alexa, I'm like, well, this is perfect for her because this is your wheelhouse. So it's not a hard sell because you know it and you're speaking the same language, so it's easier.
Can I add?
Jazmyn, yes.
So yeah, as an event producer who has worked in the events industry for quite a while, I knew the pain. So I also really resonated with that prompt that you gave us of like, what is constantly like frustrating you? What is like hindering, stopping you from being great in whatever industry that you're in. And because I'm already in the industry, then I also already have that network. I didn't have to make new relationships to, interview these people, to do my target audience research, to like really dive into the problem and really explore the possible solutions. Because obviously I know my personal experience, and I know those who I work with, maybe in passing, we've shared horror stories, but to really do that extensive research, I needed a full, network. And then I also already have a whole community of potential clients. So I don't have to go and find, a whole nother market that I'm not in. So yeah, that overlap was beautiful. And again, I plan on even using my own app. So I am my number one ambassador, promoter. Like I'm going to plug it everywhere I go. So
Yeah. So DJ, I have a question for you, and I'm going to ask some of you guys in a minute, not quite yet, but in a minute to share what your apps look like so we can see. I don't want to say the finished product because it's never finished. There's always more to do, right? But before we get there, I would love to hear what the process was for you to figure out what you even needed to include in the app. So DJ, my question to you is, did you ever change your mind about what needed to be included in the app? Like, did it start with one vision and then it changed a little bit over time, or was it always the same? You knew what needed to go on all the screens of the app?
It's still changing, let's be completely honest. And I think, like Shelley mentioned, my app is currently in the Apple Store. So like you said, we'll get to it, but I actually started on my app before I joined the boot camp. And for me, the journey was a little different. I wasn't necessarily looking at it as a business. And that's, that's what I credit the boot camp with kind of teaching me. It was literally, like I said, it was a passion for helping young folks do better at reading and spelling. And I got a son. Sometimes he struggles a little bit. My nieces, I can see them, and for me, it's about, like, I know how important it is to get an early start. I think third grade is like a critical year. Like, if you don't know how to read, because first you learn to read and then you read to learn, and that, I think third grade is that critical point. So for me, it was about putting something out there that kids, and a lot of the the more underrepresented communities, something that a tool that they can use really easily. And it started out, just spelling bee, and then it was like, well, there also should be a study mode in there, so that maybe they don't want to participate in a full live spelling bee event. Maybe they just want to practice their words. And then it was, okay, I think I got something. And that's when I started getting into the boot camp. And it was like, well, maybe we need to look at just more than putting it in the app store. We need to reach out to schools, and how do you partner with school systems? My sister does homeschooling, and maybe we can look at, targeting homeschoolers specifically, because this is something that they can easily just have, put it on their phone or their child's phone and let them, spend an hour or two at least being productive on their devices versus doing something else. So it's still evolving. I'm still looking to maybe put more kind of modes in there. But the other thing is you don't want to overdo it when you're first putting it out there. That was something else that I learned in the boot camp. You just want to get something functional out there first, and you can, revise it and make it better as you go.
But did that hurt? Because I know that for some people, it was like, oh, like I know that I want to put all the bells and whistles on it, and I want to do that now. How did you even like manage your mindset around that, around getting it out first, just with what you got?
It wasn't. Yeah, honestly, it did a little bit. I'm an engineer, like I said, by trade, so I'm kind of a tech guy. So I wanted it to have bells and whistles. I wanted it to have everything in there, whatever you could dream of. I just wanted it to be just fully stocked.
Yeah.
Right? But like I said, I developed it the traditional route, and at that point, the finances came into play really quickly, right?
Yeah.
So
tell us about that, because I don't think we've talked about this yet. So show of hands, how many of you guys built your app without code?
In Glide, you mean?
Yeah. You did not have code to make it. Okay, so most of the ladies here. And then DJ, did you code it yourself or you hired someone? Because you had already started your app before.
Right.
You coded it yourself?
No, I hired a developer to, basically.
So okay, but Shelley, you had done that too first.
Yeah, I hired a Glide expert.
Got it. Okay. So DJ, tell me a little bit about your experience with hiring a traditional developer, and then we can talk about the process of hiring someone to do it with no code, and just sort of, because there are slightly different experiences. But DJ, you had already hired a developer to do this. So talk to us about that. How did you find them? What did you like about working with them? What did you not like? How did that go?
So, like I mentioned, I've got other friends who have apps, and I think we're in an environment right now where a lot of people are, seeing this as an opportunity, right? So they went the traditional route, and I questioned them. I asked them, how did they find their developer? I think first they looked in the U.S. and then it was really expensive. So then they went overseas. They went to India and they found some better prices. So I just went straight there. I just Google search, looking at different app developers, and then I just got quotes and compared pricing, and I found a company. But now you're talking about a 9.5 time differential between your developer and yourself in the States. And so that was a challenge. There was a language barrier. That's another challenge. And then really trying to communicate your vision to someone, it's not easy. So it was, a lot of late nights for me, 11 at night is 9 a.m. for them or something like that, depending on the time zone, the time we're in. So that was a challenge, and it took quite a bit of time, because I actually, a lot of people thought I started on it, because of the pandemic, right? And I was thinking of doing something virtual, and I actually started a year and a half before that. It just got completed at a time which made sense, but this idea was
you'd already been
running. I've already been working on it, but it was time consuming, and even though it wasn't maybe as expensive as a domestic developer, it still was pretty pricey.
Yeah, are you able to share with us, sort of, you can give us a range, but like a range of price that it costs? Like, I'm sure people are curious about just like the other route and how that works, the traditional route.
Yeah, you're gonna spend upwards of 15, 20.
Yeah.
Bam, so to speak.
Yeah, it's expensive. Got it.
Yeah.
Shelley's making faces over here. Yeah. Okay, so I want to ask all of you guys this, so we're going to go around. Alexis, I want to ask you next. So you tell us how you built your app, like what you used, because DJ said he used traditional code. He hired a developer and he'd been working on this before boot camp. Alexis, what did you use to build your app? What platform did you build it yourself? How did that go?
So I use Glide, and I have been developing myself. So the product that you're going to see today is all me, or with the help of some tutors, very good tutors. But yes, I built it myself because I did not and do not have $15,000 to $20,000, so it wasn't even an option. So the do-it-yourself route, thankfully, I am pretty techie and I'm very good with details. So I was like, I can do this. I'm going to do this. And so I just went with Glide, and we've been keeping it going that way.
Yeah, got it. Okay, good. And then Alexis, do you have a sense of, since you built it yourself, what have you paid in app platform costs to date? Do you know, or you can guess a ballpark?
I'm still, because I want to wait until I get a little bit. I didn't do the annual plan, so monthly. I'm still at about maybe $60 a month because I'm using Zapier to do some integration. So even a year, I'll let you guys do the math on that. But
Got it.
It's a lot more cost effective.
Got it. Okay, great. And then Shelley, talk to us about this. So I think you mentioned this already, but say it again. What platform you used to build your app? Did you build it yourself? Did you have help? How did that work?
Well, I'm using Glide. Mm-hmm. I started to tinker it around with it myself, and I said, I would still be tinkering right now if I didn't use an expert. Mine was kind of weird because our expert, he ended up not taking anything. So he built about 95% of it and then had to leave us. And he said, you know what? You guys are great. I love you. Don't worry about it. Just let me know how things are going. That I'll have to interject. God has really helped me in this last year to get where I am with as little money as I spent. So you literally only had to pay another Glide expert less than $1,000 to finish it off. And do, he's, I'll say, oh, I want to add video. I want to do this. So he'll $100 here, $100 there. So I've paid a fraction of what I should have paid, honestly. And I've utilized Fiverr for a lot of things. So even like my logo, I built I had an ugly website. I switched from Lead Pages to Square, but I made it was kind of ugly. I gave it to my my Fiverr guy, and he jazzed it up, for less than $100. Yeah. So I've really utilized Fiverr, and I was lucky to find a good one on Fiverr to help me through this. So where I probably should have spent, I should be in for like 10, 15 grand. I'm not. We're like 4. And I think 2 of those was because I let things go and I didn't realize I hadn't canceled out my automatic payments. I'm like, I don't need Shutterstock anymore. And I didn't realize it was kept going. So, a good chunk of that is my bad bookkeeping.
Got it. No, that's great.
Remember, put those reminders in when your free stuff ends to cancel before it renews. That got me twice. So.
That's right. Those are good, like, entrepreneur tips.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, God.
Good. And then Jazmyn, what about you? What platform did you use to build your app? Did you build it yourself? How did that go? Talk to us about that.
So I actually did build it myself. I used app without code, Glide specifically, which has been a lot of fun. As far as expenses, I also did the monthly plan, and I know I didn't reach $2,000. I think it came out to maybe 15 or so far. And then I used Wix for my website. I already had a Canva account, but I definitely went pro for this because I did design my own logo, and their brand kit is great. And I know I'm about to get into hiring on Fiverr, but I have yet to. But my expenses have been very minimal.
Yeah. Love it. So we have 3 folks who've used Glide, one person who's used coding and traditional coding to build their app. And then also it looks like 2 of you guys have heavily leveraged other people to help you build. And then 2 of you guys mainly, of course, you've had help and tutors and that sort of thing, but 2 of you guys are like, we're going to do it hands-on and build it yourselves, right? So pretty diverse approaches to how you guys did this. I would love to hear, and then I want to see your apps in a minute, but I'd love to hear how you got, like, there's information inside of your app, right? Like the app's not empty. There's stuff in there. This is a question I often hear people ask, like, how did you get the information that you needed to be inside of your app? Jazmyn, I'm going to have you start.
Are you saying as far as like sample data, right?
Yeah, so like you have event planners and or different people.
Event professionals, right.
How did you even find them? Because when you start, there's like nobody in the app yet.
So yeah, so as I mentioned before, I leverage my own network of pretty much like vendors and event professionals that I already work with, that I already enjoy, you know, and I kind of want to put them on with promotion. I love giving back. So use them, definitely the few that express, not the few, but a few of those who express serious interest in wanting to sign on once I launch, plug them in. But yeah, like I said, leverage my own network. So and I also did some Facebook groups. So After That Code was really great with the strategy of looking into Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups, and again, like you don't even realize who you know. Even some of my Facebook friends that I didn't have to go search for were also interested. And then I found some industry-based Facebook groups that were like wedding planners or wedding pros and videographers, photographers. And I just, you know, marketed and promoted in there, made some new friends, did the same thing with LinkedIn. A lot of like groundwork of like, you know, bootstrapping type, you know, posting and commenting and direct messaging and following up and pretty much like nagging, but like professionally. But yeah, it was intense, but it was definitely well worth it. I learned a lot.
For the people that you already knew, like, what did you do? Did you open up your phone book and start texting people? Did you email? Like, what did you do for the people you already knew?
Okay. I will also preface this by saying that I am terrible with consistency. This is one of the things that like I'm learning as an entrepreneur, is that you really have to be consistent, and nobody's going to follow up if you don't. And I think that another great lesson that I learned from Apps Without Code is that, you know, a lot of people kind of die off after the first follow-up, if they even follow up. But I think statistically, it takes like maybe 5 times to follow up for somebody to actually become, you know, to convert over into a client. So getting into the practice of, I was doing anything from Instagram direct messaging to text messaging. Like I said, Facebook posts. I tried to make it cute, like even on my own social media, like, you know, polls and things, and just try to increase engagement. I'm also really obsessed with digital marketing in general. So I tried different strategies, but I tried it all. Like I literally tried it all. And as a millennial, I know the power of social media. So that was my greatest leverage, was my social media pages.
Got it. Alexis, how did you get the information for the inside of your app? How did you even get it?
So mine is a little different because I actually, I had to pivot. I don't know if we're going to talk about this, so I won't go too far into it. But I was originally building this to try to market it, to white label it. So I wanted to leave it very simple so that it would be easier to customize. So when you see the app, a lot of it is stock information. And so I actually used stock photos from like places like Unsplash and Shutterstock and stuff like that, where it's free. You download it, you put the information. But as far as the way that it works, I'll use the knowledge that I had. I know that what the doctors will be looking for, they'll be wanting to put in what experience they need, the availability that the temp needs to have, things like that. And so I just kind of went through that way. And so even on the matches page, it's a lot of cute people on there who I have no idea who they are, but it's all legal. So everything is that, but it's very much, I'm getting ready to pivot now and be able to get some actual users into the app. And so that'll kind of be more realistic here in a few days.
For you, are you still white labeling, or you've pivoted? We can talk about that really quickly.
Yeah, so I pivoted. I was going, and the only reason I knew nothing about white labeling, realistically, the only reason why I was gonna white label is because I wanted to see if I could get a bigger price tag in the beginning. But although I did get a lot of interest, they were wanting me kind of to build the app, something that like they had in mind. So they kind of misunderstood, like maybe I was a developer agency type thing. And so I'm like, yeah, that's not quite what I'm trying to do. So let me build it here the way I see it, the way that's going to help my community, my hygienist, my dentist. And then later on, we can go and white label to them if they like it as is. And, just kind of give me an opportunity to really get some experience with using the app myself.
Yeah, got it. Great. And then Shelley, what about you? And then we'll go back up. Oh, you're on mute, Shelley.
Right. Like I said, I was distilling all the information. So all this is available, but it's in PDFs and they're not easy to find. So we really sat down with that information and for months just put it all together and created it so that it could be uploaded into the Glide Google Sheets. But how other people, I really did utilize, because I'm in the industry, it helps, and on those Facebook groups, that helps as well. And LinkedIn, I got lots of people reaching out to me in LinkedIn when I make a post and say, what are you doing? And wanting to learn more. So definitely utilizing that and just digging down into the information.
Got it. Okay. So I would love to, Jazmyn, you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. So I actually need to amend my answer. I had said that I was using professionals that I work with, and I've been working on this app for about 8 months. For the first 3 or 4 months, I was using my favorites, but then I ended up taking the more white label approach as well, and I pivoted as well. We all pivoted so many times, but I also pivoted and started using stock photos just for the purpose, for the honest fact that there were a lot of people that were interested in joining the app, and I wanted to make it fair and even, so when I show you the app, you'll see 5 stock profiles. So I just wanted to clear that up in case they're watching and they get excited. I'm sorry, y'all.
That's good. Okay, so that's a good segue. So how about this? I'm going to ask you guys to go share your screens to share what your app looks like. I'll give you a minute to do that, to get set up on that, just on a tech clicking button side. And while they're getting set up, I'm going to talk to the audience for a second. So if you're watching this, I would love to hear a little bit of the questions that you guys have. I want to make sure I'm able to include questions that you guys are thinking of that you want to ask the panelists. And so after they show their apps, I'm going to get to your questions. But while they're setting up, I'd love to encourage everyone to type a question into the chat that they would like to ask about these folks' journeys building apps and app businesses. So take a second, throw in the questions. I'm going to hold off on questions for a second, but type them in now because it takes a second to get them typed. And then I'll come right back to them once we see the insides of some of these apps, because that's a really juicy one. Taylor says in the chat, are you really an entrepreneur if you've never pivoted? There's a lot of pivoting. We'll come back to this. There's lots of, we'll have a pivoting conversation after we look at your apps, because that's a real part of the journey. Pivoting, for those of you who are watching and don't know, is where you change the plan, right? And that's what startups look like. You regularly are going to change the plan because you're figuring it out, right? Okay, let's see here. I've got Jazmyn's app up first. Jazmyn, we're going to open up share your screen in the editor, so we'll get to see it inside of your Glide builder. So let me put this up here.
Cool.
And then Wayne, if we can have maybe just, I don't know if we have just different screens, but if we can have Jazmyn and her app up, that'd be great. Or me, Jazmyn, and her app, whatever's easiest. Okay, great. So Jazmyn, first of all, remind us again what your app does, and then sort of walk us through, I see 4 main tabs in the app, sort of walk us through what the tabs are.
Okay, so again, this is the Connect. It's a mobile app that connects you with event professionals of a very diverse range. So virtually anything that you'll need to plan an event, from event producers and planners to photographers, caterers, set design, marketing strategists, social media managers, literally anything. And so the idea is that it's very similar. Oh, I'm not sure. Are we allowed to drop names of other companies. Okay, I don't know legal purposes, but I was very inspired by the idea of like Style Seat, which is a hub for hairstylists, so people in the hair and beauty industry. And then there's like The Cut, which is if you want to book a barber. And so anyway, so this is where you can literally search for anything that you might want. You can search for photographer, anything you can favorite. And it organizes all your favorites over here. You open up a profile and then you see their information. You can literally leave services. You can see the services. You can rate, leave a comment. Beyonce loves Tasha's work. And then you can submit a direct inquiry straight to the event professional. You can manage your inquiries over here. This is on the client side. You see like when you received, when you sent the inquiry, the date you requested, any notes. And then on the vendor side, if I was Tasha, then I would be able to control whether or not I confirm this inquiry. And then again, you can go back to seeing whether or not, seeing who your vendor is. You have direct messaging. You even have the option of posting jobs if you just want like an onslaught of any photographer who's on the app to apply to your job. It really is it's direct one-on-one and engagement. And so a lot of the times, as we were talking about earlier, you're not necessarily reinventing the wheel. It's not that there aren't other platforms that offers this service as far as like finding event professionals and hiring them. But the problem is like with my competitors is that they're all just directories. They're all just lists of 1,000, millions of names and like pretty photos, but you submit a message and it kind of goes into like the dark, I don't know, like a black hole or something. I curated this with the understanding, or it's designed for both sides. So again, I am an event producer, and so I've been on the producing side where I need to hire my staff, such as like when I was a producer for LA Fashion Week, and we needed to literally hire, photographers or hire set assistants and stuff like that. So I've been the one to hire, and then as a freelance producer, I've been the one looking to be hired. And so on both ends, we're looking for direct communication. We're looking for serious inquiries only. This will be membership based, so it's not just any old body. You do have to apply, and it's really curated to ensure that it's efficient. You can book, hire. There's even going to be a premium feature where you have event boards that's very similar to Pinterest. But when you book like 5 different vendors for one event, they get clustered into this one board. So you can open up the event board and see all the vendors, that you booked. And that is something that I need as an event producer, because right now we're still in the dark ages of like on pieces of paper, like, okay, I'm planning 3 events at one time, which caterer with which event, So again, this is designed for people within the events industry to prosper, especially as we're all virtual. It's everything digital now. So yeah,
it looks gorgeous. I love the color choices that you made too. This like coffee color. The right color.
I'm a coffee lover.
That's a great color. Okay. Awesome. Okay, good. Thank you for sharing this. This is helpful because then we get to see what this looks like. Okay. Can I have Shelley? Can Shelley go next and share what you've built? And share your screen. This is awesome. And for those of you who are watching, if you have questions about the app too, feel free to throw them into the chat. We can see it. Your chat. Okay. Here is Shelley's. Awesome. Okay, so Shelley, similarly, give us an overview again of what your app does and then sort of walk us through how it works.
Well, as we've all said, our apps have evolved. So initially, what I wanted was, am I able to move here? I'm not.
Yeah, we can see your screen. So if you just click on that screen that you're sharing.
I am clicking. It's just I'm not able to navigate it.
Oh, strange. So you definitely can't navigate it from inside of we're in StreamYard. So you definitely can't navigate.
Oh, okay.
You gotta go to the original tab to navigate.
Oh, okay. There we go. That's my problem. Okay. So basically, okay, here.
There we go.
So initially, like I said, it was just the insurance companies because we would get this in ESI, Express Scripts, and these are all of the rejections that could come up while you're filling. And what we would do is I would have to call if I got a rejection that said, let me go to one I would have to call and get the intervention, the answer, instead of calling here. So I would get that prescriber ID error. I had to call the insurance company, wait on hold 10, 15 minutes for them to tell me this MH, and then I would put it through. And then, so now with our app, there's no phone call. You just get the intervention code in seconds. And then here we were able to put in some tidbits because, by the way, if we make an error 3 months later, the insurance companies can claw back the money and say, oh, you really shouldn't have given it to them for that price, and they'll take the money from you. So they'll take the money from you, but the medication has already left the pharmacy, so you lose all that money. So this will also help with audits and things like that in the future. So basically that's what we did. It's really so simple, just an error, the answer, all in a second versus having to call. And because while we're in here, I said, well, what else could we do? And then we started adding these, when COVID happened, there were billing changes, like we were only dispensing 1 month. So there were different billing issues. So we put them in here quickly to be accessed by the pharmacist. And now we're waiting on the difference with when we're going to be able to do COVID vaccinations in the pharmacy. And so we've attached information here. We've also, there's things that we don't do very often, like glucometers. We get things paid for in Canada. So here I quickly put, this is how you bill it. Because when I see them coming, I always say, can you come back tomorrow when my tech is here who knows how to do this, is available. So we've put these things all in here because the insurance companies are only open 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, whereas in pharmacy, we're 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So this double check in your pocket, in the pharmacist's pocket, will not only save time, it'll also save money and reduce audits in the future.
And this is the genius part where you were mentioning, like, why hasn't anyone else thought of it?
I know, because literally we do this, but we just write them on notes and we put them on cork boards, and we have, like, it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, got it. Great. This is really good because it shows everyone that, like, the idea doesn't have to be this, like, crazy, wild, elaborate thing. Like, you just
right.
were doing at work and said, how can I make this easier?
Yeah, and you know, it's just so simple. And then when I did my beta testing, somebody said, oh, could you put mifepristone in there? I've only dispensed it twice. And for you who don't know, it's a medical abortion tablet, and it's covered in Canada for everybody, regardless of the age. Or we have a lot of things that are covered for people 65 and over, and 25 and younger. But something like this is covered for anybody because they deem it if it's an emergency. But I've only done it twice in my 4 years that I've been back since coming back to school with going back to work with the kids. So I put this in there, and I also attached a video link so that the pharmacist can quickly look, okay, and then go talk to the patients, because we do that too.
Amazing.
Double check. So yeah, we have even video clips in here, and it's just been a real godsend, because I've had, especially with that medication, it was terrible. It was a night the mother comes in. She just found out she had cancer. She has to terminate the pregnancy before she starts chemo. And like, mom is crying, she's crying, I'm near tears, and we couldn't figure out how to build a damn thing. And, so it was a disaster. So I'm like, this has got to be in there too. Like, got
it. I love it. I love this. Okay. Lots of people in the chat like this. And so there's some pharmacists. Someone says, yep, I'm a pharmacist. So she speaks my language. There you go. She knows all about this.
Oh, perfect. Well, we should connect, whoever the pharmacist is.
Yes, absolutely. We'll come back and we'll share information at the end of how people can connect with you.
Perfect.
DJ, can you share next? We'd love to see sort of how your app works. Give us the reminder of just sort of what it is, and then just walk us through. And you're on mute, DJ, so we can't hear you.
All right. Sharing my screen now. Let me know if you guys can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
So this is basically how it looks, and I think somebody asked, can you play with other people with the spelling bee? And you absolutely can. And what I'm showing now is an actual event, but I'm using the computer mode. So I'm playing against 3 virtual players. And unfortunately, you can't hear the audio, but the app is telling you the words. And now, when it's my turn, I can kind of show you a little bit of the functionality. But here, just like a real spelling bee, you hear the word, but then you can get a hint. So this is the definition of the word, and you basically just type it in, and it moves on to the next person, and just like a real spelling bee. It's really just that simple.
Cool. Love it. And I could hear it too. It was faint because we're through the device, but the audio plays.
Okay, so I spelled the word wrong, so it tells you what I spelled wrong. The word was may. I spelled maybe just to kind of end this thing. But it tells you, what your child got wrong, what they got right, so what they might need to work on. And when you're playing with actual participants, you can have as many as 15 live, students, classmates, if you would, playing at the same time. And there's also, like I said, there's a study mode, which is just basically you can, as a parent, you can pick the words that you want the child to be studying, and the child can just either they have to spell the entire word or they can spell partial words as well, depending on the level of the child. And this is basically for K through 12. So we've got kind of the words categorized by difficulty.
Got it.
Three buckets. Yeah, and that's it. And like we've said, I think there was a lot more I wanted to add in here, but I think just having this functionality was all I had.
No, this is great. And we've all experienced, by the way, an app where there was so much going on that we were like, oh, I don't even know what to click or where to go or what to do. So I like that you went with the most important features first and rolled it out.
Right.
Amazing. I love this. Okay. Taylor says, oh, wow, my sister is an elementary teacher. She should use this for her Zoom students. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
That's like I said, that's who has I got the most traction with homeschoolers so far.
There it is. Yep. Perfect. Okay, good. So let's also have Alexis share. I'm going to share a screen for Alexis so we can see Alexis's app. All right. So Alexis, I'm here on the front page. I need to log in, correct? I'm going to drive on this. You tell me where to go.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to sign my Gmail. Let's see if I can do
that. It'll be quicker.
It is quicker that way. Okay, so I'm in, it's loading me in. Perfect. Okay, so talk me through there's 4 main tabs. Talk me through the tabs.
Yeah. So when you initially log in, as you see, you're on your profile. So if you were to click the pencil, it's going to give you the option now to enter in your information. You put your name. You can add a photo of yourself, but then you'll see there it says type of user. And that is how you're going to now see different versions of the app. So if you're a dental office, then you'll be looking for, obviously, a temp. But then if you're a temp, you'll be looking for a dental office. And so I think is it freezing on you?
No, it's not. I'm trying to see if I can find a quick picture.
Oh, picture. Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. I'm going to put one in there. Let's see. It might be a big one. Okay, I found one. Okay.
Cool. So then we have the drop down boxes. So you are a dental office. So you'll, if you hit the drop down, there it is again. You're a dental office. You want to put in that one. Yep. And then your desired schedule. So that one is going to be if you're looking for someone who's permanent, or if you're looking for someone who's part-time, or you're just looking for someone who's just ready to temp. You can choose any part-time. Yep. The urgency, that is for, because there's options in the app if you need someone right away, or if you're just kind of trying to see who's there. The looking for tab. Did you have a question?
Oh, are my selections okay? This works?
Yeah, that'll work. So now if you go to the looking for, let's put in hygienist. And then we'll have to also, if we did we select part-time? I don't even remember. It's so quick. Whatever we selected, we want to, yeah. So we want,
my desire is part-time.
So let's do the same thing for the hygienist, what we're looking for. And same for urgency is browsing. So basically what you're doing is you're making sure that you're matching exactly what you're looking for. We're obviously we're making some changes to that for it to be a little bit less redundant, but now all you would do is hit done.
Profile.
Yeah, there's your profile. So it's going to have exactly everything that you put there. So if you go to your Discover tab, let's see if we have any matches already in the app.
I do.
It looks like you do, yeah. So you have Rachel. She is a hygienist. If you click on Rachel's name, it's going to bring up some information about Rachel. You can message her. You would type, hey, I'm looking for somebody. When can you come in? You know.
A message was sent. Does it show up in my messaging? There it is. Nice.
Now, yes, your browse tab. So Discover is going to match you with exactly the type of person that you said. But if you're on a day just wondering, you know, I might be looking to hire somebody in the near future, your browse tab is going to bring up pretty much any users that are in the app. So you can filter by job title or their what they're looking for. So it's going to bring up everyone that's in the app. If you go back to your profile, I do want to show you one other thing because I integrated a way to use Calendly. So let's edit your profile and let's make it where you are looking for, you can keep, I think it's, go back up to, you're still a dental office. Let's change permanent part-time to temporary and immediate hiring immediately, browsing.
Immediately. Yep. Okay.
So now we're still doing hygienist, but let's put temporary and hiring immediately, because that is going to bring up, unless I've changed it again. Let's hit done. And when you go to your Discover tab, you should have me. Yes. So let's click on my profile, because
look,
there you are. Yes. So obviously this I would have to log in, but it would typically have literally my days that I'm available on that. And so I can edit that, I can change it. And so they can just schedule with me without having to call or anything, just put themselves on my schedule. I said I was available, so they're going to schedule for me and I'll show up. And so it'll send them the emails, you know, to remind us that we have set up an appointment with each other. So
totally makes sense. Awesome. Okay. Really good job with this. So let's have everybody else come back up on stage, because I told you guys we probably were going to talk for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We've been here chatting for an hour already. So I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I just want to go around one more time and have you share where people can find you, because there's some people who may want to ask you questions about your journey or who want to be customers. So tell me two things. Tell me who you would like to connect with. That could be like, tell me who your ideal customer is or ideal partner, or just who you'd like to hear from. And then also tell us where to find you offline or email, social media, whatever is best. Shelley, you go first.
Well, I connected with a lot of people through the Facebook group where I guess you found me because I was just posting some things that have happened, some positive things that have happened with me. So definitely, I've had a whole bunch of people reach out that way already. So
there's people outside of just the app, so that could
okay. Okay, well then,
yeah.
LinkedIn, I'm Shelley Morgan Bear, Dr. Shelley Morgan Bear, pharmacist on LinkedIn, and we have our website, Shelley at rxbillinggenie.com.
Perfect. Amazing. And then Alexis, who would you ideally like to connect with? Who do you want to hear from, and where can people contact you?
So we're looking for dentists, those who own their own dental practice, as well as hygienist assistants who will be looking to temp. And you can either visit my website at dentkwik.com, on Facebook as Alexis Brunson, LinkedIn as Alexis Brunson, or you can email me at alexisbrunson@dentkwik.com. And that is BRUNSON.
Perfect. Okay. Love it. Jazmyn, what about you?
Okay, so I am looking for, so the app is for anybody who's planning an event. It could be social event, weddings, birthday parties, but I am looking to delve more into the entertainment industry. So those launching like launch parties, showcases, even brand partnerships. So if there's any brands in the audience, please come see me. But I really just want to help the entertainment and the events industry. So for more information, you can reach me at info@theconnectmobile.com or visit us online at www.theconnectmobile.com or follow us on Instagram at theconnectmobile. No.com. Yeah. Thank you.
Didier, what about you?
Okay, so who am I looking for? I'm looking for educators, administrators of schools, principals, anyone in that space. Large school, small school, specialized school, magnet schools. It really doesn't matter. But also, homeschoolers. Like I said, my sister's been doing it for 10 years now, homeschooling her daughters. So that's kind of my target audience. But actually, anybody that's a parent with kids, and you maybe you need like an hour of quiet time, and just give them a phone and let them do something constructive. You can download the app today on the Apple Store. Right now, it's iOS. I'm working to get it on Android, and I do kind of have a landing page. That's the website right next to my name there. Spellbeestarllc.com. You can contact me through there, or traditional email. It's dire511@gmail.com. Just drop me a note.
Perfect. Amazing. Okay. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. And thanks for everyone here who's listening. I feel like some people have typed into the chat that this was really inspirational and helped them sort of see their next steps too. So thank you for everyone. And I will talk to you all really soon. Have a good one.
Bye. Happy New Year's.
Stay safe, everyone.
You too.
Absolutely.